is a massive literature providing a high level of scientific certainty for each of 8 pathophysiological effects caused by non-thermal microwave frequency, EMF exposure. This is shown in from 12 to 35 reviews on each specific effect, with each review listed in Chapter 1, providing a substantial body of evidence on the existence of each effect. Such EMFs, 1, they attack our nervous system, including our brains, leading to widespread neurological, neuropsychiatric effects, and possibly many other effects. This nervous system attack is of great concern. 2, attack our endocrine, that is hormonal systems. In this context, the main thing that make us functionally different from single-celled creatures are our nervous system and our endocrine systems. Even a simple planaria worm needs both of these. Thus, the consequence of the disruption of these 2 regulatory systems is immense, such that it is a travesty to ignore these findings. 3, produce oxidative stress and free radical damage, which have central roles in essentially all chronic diseases. 4, attack the DNA of our cells, producing single-strand and double-strand breaks in cellular DNA and oxidized bases in our cellular DNA. These in turn produce cancer and also mutations in germline cells, which produce mutations in future generations. 5, produce elevated levels of apoptosis, programmed cell death, events especially important in causing both neurodegenerative diseases and infertility. 6, lower male and female fertility, lower sex hormones, lower libido, and increased levels of spontaneous abortion, and already stated, attack the DNA in sperm cells. 7, produce excessive intracellular calcium, Ca2, and excessive calcium signaling. 8, attack the cells of our bodies to cause cancer. Such attacks are thought to activate via 15 different mechanisms during cancer causation. There is substantial literature showing EMFs also cause other effects, including life-threatening cardiac effects. That's in Chapter 3. In addition, substantial evidence suggests EMF causation of very early onset dementia, including Alzheimer's, digital, and other types of dementias. That's in Chapter 3. And there's evidence that EMF exposure in utero and shortly after birth can cause ADHD and autism. There's 1 in 38 babies born now with autism. Well, that's covered in Chapter 5. Each of these effects is produced via the main mechanism of action of microwave lower frequency EMFs, activation of voltage-gated calcium channels, VGCCs, that's in Chapter 2. Each of them is produced via what are called downstream effects of VGCC activation. It follows from this that we have a good understanding not only these effects occur, but also how they can occur. The extraordinary sensitivity of VGCC voltage sensors to the forces of EMFs tells us that the current safety guidelines allow us to be exposed to EMF levels that are something like 7.2 million times too high. That sensitivity is predicted by physics. I didn't take physics. I didn't get there. Therefore, the physics and the biology are each pointing to the same mechanism of action of non-thermal EMFs. Different effects produced are obviously very deep concerns. They become much deeper and become existential threats when one considers that several of these effects are both cumulative and eventually irreversible. There is substantial evidence for the cumulative nature of and eventual irreversibility of neurological, neuropsychiatric effects of the reproductive effects. The mutational DNA effects, cardiac effects, but some, but not other, of hormonal effects. That's in Chapter 3. Any causation of ADHD and autism may add additional concerns. Here, the cumulative nature is probably limited to the prenatal period. When we know sperm counts have dropped by more than 50% throughout the technologically advanced countries on Earth, it's difficult to avoid the conclusion that the vast majority of the population in those countries is already substantially impacted. The same conclusion can be made based on the widespread nature of the neuropsychiatric effects. I'll get back.